Breaking news, January 09, 2026. Estonia's tiny Mark I anti-drone missile, developed for Ukraine to receive naval launch system. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. I'm Alex. Join me with Arya in the latest deep dive by Defense Report for a sharp, no-nonsense breakdowns of the latest in global defense news, military technology, and strategic developments. And today we're going to cover how a missile that's literally the size of a baguette is about to upend naval warfare.
It's all about solving what's probably the most urgent problem for NATO right now.
And what's that?
It's what analysts are calling the accounting problem. I mean, just picture this. You have a $20,000 Russian Shahed drone flying towards a critical asset.
Okay.
And to shoot it down, you're forced to fire a missile that costs $625,000.
And that's if it even hits. We've seen reports out of Poland where these expensive interceptors were missing half the time.
Exactly. Yeah. That kind of asymmetry is completely unsustainable.
Which is the core of our deep dive today. We're going to unpack this brand new weapon, the Mark I, from an Estonian startup called Frankenberg, which promises to fix the math. But the real story, the cliffhanger for you, is why the UK is now scrambling to put this tiny land-based missile onto their warships.
It's a huge signal. I mean, this move tells you that this isn't some experiment anymore.
What do you mean?
Well, this system was born for the land, for Europe's drone wall, but moving it to the sea, making it a core naval defense system that shows Europe is treating mass drone defense as an absolute necessity. It's the concept of a tradable mass made real.
Okay, let's start right there, the accounting problem. When we talk about these exquisite Western systems, what does that really mean, and why are they so vulnerable to cheap, mass-produced OWA drones?
Exquisite just means they're engineered to perfection. Think of a Patriot missile.
Okay, the gold standard.
Right. It's built with exotic materials. It has a super complex radar seeker. Everything about it is designed to take down a maneuvering ballistic missile. That's why one shot can cost over $4 million.
So you're using a Formula One car to stop a go-kart.
A very explosive go-kart, but yes. And whether you hit it or not, the attacker wins that economic exchange every single time.
It's not just the Patriots, though. Even the cheaper options are a problem.
Oh, absolutely. Look at the APKWS guided rocket. It's been a huge success in Ukraine, very effective.
And it's much cheaper.
It is. It costs around $25,000 a shot. But if you're firing that at a $20,000 Shahed drone, you're, at best, breaking even. And that's before you even think about the cost of the launcher, the crew, everything else.
The math just drains your resources. Ukraine learned this the hard way, right? Their stockpiles of expensive missiles were just getting depleted by waves of cheap drones hitting their power grid.
That was the defining narrative of the early air war. He simply can't keep up. And that urgency spilled right over into NATO territory. Remember that incident in September 2025?
When Russian drones flew into Polish airspace.
Yes. NATO scrambled F-16s. They fired these incredibly expensive air-to-air missiles, and they still didn't get all of them. That moment right there was the political catalyst for the whole drone wall idea. Everyone realized we needed a new tool.
And that new tool is the Mark I, the baguette-sized missile. It's, what, 65 centimeters long?
Barely. It's tiny. But the truly mind-blowing part is the development speed. They went from a concept on a whiteboard to a live-fire test in 13 months.
That's unheard of in defense procurement.
It is, and it's all down to a complete shift in philosophy. The CEO, Kusti Salm, he calls the legacy defense world a designer bag industry.
A designer bag industry?
Yeah, you know, where everything has to be perfect, bespoke, uncompromisingly engineered. The Mark I is the exact opposite of that. It's designed to be just good enough.
So quantity has a quality all its own.
That's the mantra. They're prioritizing mass production and affordability over exotic performance. A key part of that is using commercial, off-the-shelf parts.
Like the guidance system.
Exactly. Instead of some bespoke military-grade processor, it uses something like an NVIDIA Jetson. It's a powerful computer vision platform that's, widely available. That decision alone slashes the cost and complexity.
But doesn't that introduce a huge risk? Relying on a commercial supply chain.
It's a calculated risk, a trade-off. What they gain is immense. The guidance is all AI-driven computer vision. It's fire and forget.
So once it's launched, It finds the target on its own.
Right, it doesn't need a data link back to the launcher, and that one feature makes it incredibly resistant to the kind of electronic warfare and jamming that is absolutely rampant across Ukraine.
Okay, so it's jam-proof, but what about its performance? It's small, so I'm guessing the range is limited.
It is. It's a point defense weapon. The range is about 2 kilometers, but within that bubble, it is brutally fast. We're talking over 1,200 kilometers per hour. Mach 1 plus.
The accuracy figure I saw was 56%. To be honest, that sounds low. How is that good enough?
I know, it seems counterintuitive. But you have to stop thinking about one-on-one engagements.
You mean statistical suppression?
Precisely. For the price of $1 million missile that has a 98% chance of hitting, you can launch 50 of these. In a SWOR attack, with 10 drones coming at you at once, which option gives you a better chance of survival?
50 cheap ones. You overwhelm the attack.
You overwhelm the attack, and Frankenberg's goal is to get that accuracy up to 90% with AI refinements. But even at 56%, it's a game changer against massed threats like the Shahed, the Orlan recon drones, or the Lancet loitering munitions.
So in Ukraine, where does this fit in?
It's that perfect middle layer. Ukraine is doing incredible work with their own FPV interceptor drones.
The ones that cost a few $1,000s each.
Right, and they're making 1,500 a day. But those are slower. The Mark I is a proper hard-kill kinetic interceptor. It's faster and more lethal than an FPV drone, but it's still cheap enough that you're not firing a Patriot at a flying lawnmower.
You save the big guns for the real dangers.
You save your NASAMS and Patriots for the ballistic missiles and cruise missiles, and Frankenberg is working directly with Ukraine's Brave One Defense Innovation Hub to get this thing tested and improved on the front lines right now.
So the battlefield is the lab, which brings us to the industrial side. The goal isn't just to help Ukraine, it's to build a shield for all of NATO's eastern flank.
Yes, and the key to that is scaling up. The partnership with Poland is absolutely central to this.
This is the agreement with PGZ, their state-owned defense giant.
It is, and the numbers are staggering. The plan is to set up a factory in Poland to build up to 10,000 Mark I missiles a year.
10,000.
Annually. You have to think about that. That's the kind of scale you need to actually match Russia's drone production rates. It's the only way to create real industrial resilience and replenish stocks quickly.
Is it really just about building factories, though? What about the components?
That's the other part of the strategy. It's about supply chain sovereignty. By manufacturing across several NATO countries, Estonia, Poland, the UK, you spread out the risk.
So one hit doesn't cripple the whole program.
Exactly. And you also consciously move away from relying on non-European components. You start building the micro parts, the motors, the warheads, right here in Europe. Securing that industrial base is a huge strategic priority.
And that industrial base becomes the backbone for this drone wall.
It's the only way it works. You have to be able to outproduce the threat affordably.
Which brings us back to the breaking news, the naval pivot. Frankenberg signing a deal with the UK's Babcock International. How do you even put a land-based missile on a warship?
Well, Babcock's solution is, frankly, ingenious. It's a containerized launcher.
So it's basically a self-contained box, like a shipping container full of missiles.
Almost exactly like that. A rugged, modular box with the missiles, the launcher, the electronics, all in one package. It makes the system completely platform agnostic.
Meaning you can bolt it on to anything.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah.
A patrol boat, an oil rig, or you can slot it into the modular PODS systems on a modern warship, like the Royal Navy's Type 31 frigate. It's literally plug-and-play air defense.
And this is part of a much bigger concept for Babcock, isn't it?
It is. It's a key piece of their Armor Force concept.
It stands for?
Autonomous and Remote Maritime Operational Response Force. It's their vision for a hybrid navy.
A mix of crewed ships and robotic vessels.
Exactly. So you could have a large uncrewed surface vessel, a USV, like one from the HII Romulus family, sailing alongside the main fleet, and it could have its own container of Mark Is for self-defense.
Wow. That completely changes the dynamic, especially in places like the Black Sea or the Red Sea, where drone boats and aerial drones are a constant daily threat.
It solves the biggest problem for a modern warship. It allows it to preserve its magazine depth.
Explain that.
A destroyer has a limited number of vertical launch cells. That's its magazine. If it has to use a $2 million missile from one of those cells to shoot down a cheap drone, it runs out of ammunition for the real threats very, very quickly.
So the Mark I acts as a shield.
A cheap, disposable, but effective shield. It handles the swarm of low-end threats, and you save your precious VLS missiles for the anti-ship cruise missiles or ballistic missiles that could actually sink you.
So it's the solution to the accounting problem, just at sea.
It is. And it's existential for a modern navy. It's the only way to stay in the fight against these new mass saturation tactics.
So wrapping this up, the big advantage of the Mark I is that it democratizes air defense. It's low cost, easy to produce in huge numbers, and the AI makes it simple to operate.
And it's not happening in a vacuum. This is part of a broader European trend. We're seeing things like the Terrahawk Paladin gun systems in Ukraine, which use Polish radars, or the new Ghost Eye radars for the NASAM system. The theme is clear: layered, scalable, and affordable defense.
It seems like a huge success story. But what's the next big hurdle? If Frankenberg wants this to be a global export, what's the one problem they still have to solve?
That's a great question. The next big challenge is environmental hardening.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the current design was built for speed, for European conditions. There are reports that it's challenged by extreme climates, like the intense heat of a desert or the bitter cold of the Arctic.
So those commercial off-the-shelf parts might not hold up.
They might not. So for the Mark I to go from being a European solution to a true global export that you can sell to partners in the Middle East or the High North, the next big R&D push won't be about making it more accurate. It'll be about making it tough enough to work anywhere on Earth. That's the next frontier for this little missile.
You've been listening to Defense Report by Alex and Aria, where we analyze the latest in military strategy, global defense, and advanced weaponry. Subscribe to Defense Reports, your go-to source for timely, in-depth military and defense reports. We'll catch you next time.